It's issue.
Well, the
And
idea,
also for people to participate in that way.
the idea of that is to create that area. So the idea of collaborative areas in this freeme is to create that area of a page and an area where you can practice, and we can all practice together.
Yeah.
Is this best there, or is it better? It doesn't really make much difference. So the idea of that opens that up, but as you can probably see, there's not the collaborative nature of it requires people to be ready for it, and people are working through their differences so that they are ready for it. So the timing of it is kind of divine or perfect, harmonic, whatever you wish to call it.
Yeah.
For it to be constructed, it's taking a while. It's not something we can just do, snap our fingers, because I believe that's something about the correct timing for it. So yeah, I'm really enthused by what it will bring, but it needs to be done with that purity of intention, I guess, and some innocence and some fun. Pull the back off. Ah, it slides off. Oh, you're just looking.
I was just exploring.
We'll see on that.
Yeah, keep me in the loop on that one. I'm curious to see that one, or yeah, at least I would like to. I've been playing with doing inputs instead of just receiving, I'm not sure what I have on my mind yet, but I think
good.
after Denmark, I will have a lot more clear.
Buggered this one. Try it. Yeah, man, that's the thing about it. You'll get more clarity
Yes.
and with more experience. So going back to Denmark, bringing you that. Walking the walk.
Yes.
So then you'll become responsible, right? More response able.
Yeah.
And that then will mean that you can see through question. You can see through character. You can see through the individual's need or missing or their limitation, let's call it that, and deliver something much more profound and deep to where before you would have just been responding at a level.
To the fluff.
Yeah, so that's what you're going to be practicing, is that depth of awareness in different environments, some of which will be harsher, heavier, deeper, more prickly than others, and some will be smooth and just flowing. But all the plethora, the difference is, if you only experience the smooth and fluffy, then how do you deal with the spiky and prickly? So it also gives this idea of, okay, well, what do I do? And I was always able, and whether it be good or not, well, good's the wrong word, to allow for people to explode and hold the area of their explosion. Almost like throwing myself on a grenade that's on the floor, but it wasn't throwing myself. What it was controlling the shrapnel. So in as much as I knew that they would explode and pop, it's okay. It's not a problem. Been doing that for a long time. But also the energy of that explosion isn't going to expand any further once it's exploded. So it's like a controlled demolition, or a controlled explosion which demolishes belief systems. Well, I was happy for those explosions relative, because I was so used to them. People getting so fucking angry so fucking quickly, and creating all sorts of stories that were mental, right? And then really getting angry about it.
Excuses.
Yeah, man. But okay, pop, go, pop. Cause I got nothing to fear in you popping, son. And in this way, it was let the explosions happen, because they're going to happen anyway. If they're capable of exploding, there's no point trying to think they're not. So show them that they can in almost a matter of it, but control the outcomes. So that what you can't do is go into those situations and either sympathize with them, so you become angry with them, or let them go running off. That's not responsible. So it's a controlled thing where you've got
Is this the coaching session? So you help them break down their belief system, and most fight when that happens, when you tell them something that don't fit their reality, they break down and get angry.
Yeah.
As soon as that period is over, it creates now space, because now all that anger is out. We can now have a space to pick them up or help them to pick themselves up in some sense.
I also believe that, I agree. It is the space to do it in. That's the thing, and that's love. If you want holding the space,
I was
for
just
them
having
to
that in my
blow up in.
Yeah.
Regardless, without what you're not going to do is judge them or blame them, right? And that's the space. So it's a non-judgmental explosion, which is negative or limited.
It's a transformation of energy
for the other, but it's for them to see, not for you to call out, and then you can show it and talk it through. But not when they're not ready, they can't accept it.
I see. I was working like this when I was doing my coaching.
Yeah,
holding that space as soon as they feel safe, or when they feel safe.
I'm not worried about them feeling safe. I'm worried about them being truthful. So
back in those days, that was my input. That was my learning. That if you create a space where they can trust you, the rapport, if you can get that, then they will be more truthful with you. That was my teachings. You only get that
depth of rapport when they see themselves. In reflection that you held their anger with trust and love, not with denial and judgment, because they believe that you've caused it. They've got to see that you didn't. And that's when trust can be developed. Before that, it's superficial. This has to be gone through a period of self-reflection where they see what they've done, and this is what I was talking to Dean yesterday about the value of it. So if they don't see shame, if they don't value the negation or the limitation as I don't want to be doing that, if they see it as okay, then they don't understand the value sets. Yeah. So that needs to be explored, and over time then that can lead to trust. Otherwise the trust is superficial. If they can't explode and not get penalized for it, then that trust can't grow.
But I figured I don't need their trust to hold the space.
You need trustworthiness, and they're not worthy of trust. They don't trust you because they can't trust themselves.
And I know exactly what that's like.
So it's not that you don't need it, it's that if you wish to grow, if you wish to further this situation, they are capable of falling out of trust completely. Yet they'll tell you they trust, which is a manipulation and actually not a truth.
They wish they could believe that
So that wish is not a truth. Yeah. So it can't be trusted if it's just a wish, right? And then superficially they remove all of the other explosions. So this area is an area of exploration, very, very much past. This needs honest depth, honest trust, not one that is superficial and floaty and can come in and out every now and then. This needs to be true and held with a value for it to be trustworthy as you are. Now, I'm not going to say the environment will be as trustworthy as you are to yourself. That's fine, but that's what we're growing. The ability to see past the inability to trust and not say it's trust. So the way that ones may think I'm doing this needs to be reviewed, but they don't want to review it. So in this situation, the ones that came back regularly would tend to get angry until they didn't anymore. And if that took 2 or 3 years, so what? It took me 49 or 45 or 40, whatever it was. Yeah, right. So for 2 or 3 years, and people aren't ready to release their anger. People aren't. When I went to see the counsellor, he said to me, have you been to any other
anger therapists?
Any of these? And I said, no. And he said, good. And he started then straight onto this other form, RBR, which is rapid behavioural regression rehabilitation. Yeah. But that was based on who's going to kiss it and make it better. That's self-responsibility. And people aren't able, I wasn't able to do that until I'd lost everything.
Practice, yeah.
No, I needed to lose everything before I could believe that. So I had to be on my ass before I could receive the RBR, the rapid change through my own system, through my own input. But I had to be on my ass to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it.
So in some sense, it was that kind of approach wasn't working until you lost the complete self.
Everything, had to go. Otherwise, it wouldn't be taken with the value it needed, and you wouldn't do the work on yourself outside of those sessions. So an hour session was enough. That's all it should take ever for anybody. But of course, it doesn't, because people want to keep going back for more.
And we keep inventing new ones.
So one session is not generally enough. One session is the first and second one's enough. That's it. 2, and that's just what he said. 2 sessions. I don't want to see you again.
Yeah.
because it's not my job to fix you.
That is so fun. I had the same approach when I was having my own. I had one where I did it. It was like 5th session, and I was like, we're talking about the same story. So I like your money, but I would prefer helping you. I'm not the right counselor for you. You should find another counselor, because this is just coffee talk. We're not getting anywhere.
You're a psychologist, isn't it? You just listen.
Yeah. He wasn't listening or doing any work on his own. It all came back with the same issue over and over, and I was like, this is just
perfect. Right, now you know human nature. You know it from your own self, and you know it from the others what you've seen in your coaching. They're not willing to do the work on themselves, so they want you to do it for them. Don't.
Yeah, no.
And that respect. Now you can explain things to them. This is the thing about contractual obligation. If you're looking at this on a human level value, a soul value, give unto the other as what you'd like to receive, right? Give as you'd like to receive. So you know that you would have liked the blunt truth, the pure truth, the actual truth, straight up in your face, regardless of what you did with it. Don't be ashamed, don't be afraid of that with them.
Yeah.
But ensure that they are informed of where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So the foundations, the agreements. If you haven't got that agreement in place, then you're breaching their rights, their value systems, by thinking that you can impact them.
And it will only become their illusions of whatever wrappings they want to explain me.
So you've got to simplify it and bring it back to something that you can agree on initially, and that needs to be past what they can conceive.
Yes.
Now, initially they won't be able to understand the depth of what you're saying.
Kind of the same as our conversations. It's like we said the last time, I see more and more, and every time we talk, I see a little bit more.
Yes.
So that kind of, you're being led, but there's nobody in front of you, there's somebody on the side of you. It's not nobody leading you. You're the one leading, but you have somebody to hold your hand a little bit.
I call it's like walking up a path. I'll take you on a path. So it's a journey. And I can see it as a path, and take it as this path down here, it doesn't matter, and down that path there's lampposts, and each lamppost is a marker. Now as we walk down that path, we're going to increase in depth, or increase in simplicity, where the complications come in. We're going to cut them down into simplicity, so we're going to walk along the path, and I'll hold your hand. You can hold my hand, whichever way around it is, it doesn't matter. And when you get to a point where it's too much, and if you get angry, then effectively you've soiled yourself. You've shut yourself on that path. Now, that's all good, but we're not going to continue. What we're going to do is come back to the place you shut yourself and clean it up.
Yeah.
And then we're going to walk the same path again to see whether you shut yourself at that point again or not. And if we don't, then we can keep going.
Yeah.
But if you do, so sweet. We're going to go back there until you clean it up.
Yeah.
It's your mess. Let's go clean it up. Remember that? Yeah. Can you accept it now? Well, what are you going to do about what you did?
I've tried in my coachings. I used the pool in the China shop. I asked people, "Do you think the pool is coming back to clean up?" Everybody was so I had so many clients for a long period of time. That's why it came out, and everybody was like, "But he or she was the one who did this to me, and now all this mess, and they should clean it up." And I was like,
so first,
how the fuck do you explain to somebody that don't know they made a mess to come and pick up?
Well, you've got no foundation to take it back to. So effectively, one of the early things that you can agree with somebody is, do you create your own reality? Well, if you do, nobody can do anything to you, can they? They do it for you, don't they? Now, superficially, people can say, well, okay, I'm not so sure about that, because no, come on, we're talking philosophically. It happens for you.
Yeah.
Can you agree? And then we can always come back and deepen that, because they're always going to blame somebody else. Remember, it's for you. Remember, we talk about this, it's for you, right? So we can come back, because we've got that in place. They may not agree with it fully, but they'd like the idea of it because they want to expand. All right. Are we manipulating? No, we're giving something fundamental that people don't understand, and then we're going to dig into it when they start to deny it later. So this is that bit about the transparency at the beginning. Open it up into areas where you know that you would have refused. So it's for me. No, in the past, fuck no. I didn't do that for myself. No, it was them. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So start there.
Yeah.
Right? Dig into what you find the hardest things and give the simple answer.
Yeah.
And get the agreement on it.
That will be my playground.
It will. And it's exploratory. And it's your words, not mine. So this is, again, just walking alongside you.
In some sense, I've been missing that. We talked about this, and I feel my vocabulary also to explain some of these deeper understandings. I can feel that I have a notion or a wisdom that I can feel, but I can't explain it yet with the simplicity that you have come to a point where you can do 2-minute conversations into a one-phrase sentence that's just as powerful, but it saves all the fluffiness and it becomes so much more on the point to the function and not to all the fluff.
Well, because I've gone through the fluff so many fucking times with people, and the fluff is where people go to, right? So no, we're not having any fluff.
I did.
Defluff. Womp straight through. But until you find that in you and you realise the power of it and the beauty of being able to come back to something. See, fundamental agreements is what you need to refer to. Otherwise, where's the responsibility?
I was just saying, that was my mind. What you just said was kind of a teacher's way of explaining how to coach somebody, but in a different setup. So you make an agreement on the forehand, like you told me many times. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do, and you're going to deny it, and you're going to come back, and then we can talk about it. This is kind of the same setup. You say something very true that you don't understand, they will fight you on it, and if they're curious enough, they'll come back, and if they don't, gravy.
But you're accounted for.
Exactly.
Because you didn't hold back in your truth and you gave them something that they will find to be true later.
And that will be my biggest test in standing in my truth back there.
Of course it will. So these areas that you're about to experience are very, very much deeper for you. And they recognize shallows. And they say, we can't agree to that. And I understand that you don't know, but this is not a conversation you have with them. I understand from your, it's self-evident that your ability to comprehend this is to a depth. That's fine, it's a limited depth, okay. No fault. But we have to have a baseline that we can agree to, otherwise what's the contract? Where's the original agreements?
You actually said it very beautiful in Renata. All the people who did something bad to me in my mind, they all were also trying. So they didn't know.
No.
So that for me had a release in me. When you said that, I was like, fucking hell. Yeah, they're all operating some sense in the same operating system as me. But it never worked because you're always trying to fix something that you don't know how to fix outside instead of fixing inside.
What I saw from this was a disconnect of consciousness. So what I saw last year was how consciousness was disconnected. What I referred it to was magnetic and electric, right? So heart consciousness, love consciousness, whatever, these two separate things, they're not fucking separate.
Is that the magnetic or electric?
Magnetic would be the heart.
The heart would be magnetic.
And the
thought.
Consciousness would be the electric, right?
Yeah.
So these principles which would be masculine, feminine,
yes,
but we're within, right? So it's not a gender thing. This is the biggest thing about saying these things. As soon as you use masculine and feminine, everybody genderizes it. No, I'm talking about an inner structure of electromagnetism.
Yin-yang.
Or electric field and a magnetic field.
Yeah.
In harmony, perfect. Out of harmony,
Yeah.
So, shit, where was I in that? Bugger, I've lost it. Where was the consciousness going with this? So what I mapped it to was the release of consciousness wasn't there, right? We weren't looking for respect, loyalty, trust, and honesty. We were looking for love, right? So we had this word love. We need to be loved. We need to be kind. We need to be nice. But we weren't looking for honesty. We weren't looking for truthful, pure loyalty, loyal to the core, loyal to yourself, loyal to the other, on the voice, on the word, and the way you talk. We weren't considering that. Consciousness, accountability, all of these things we didn't bother about. We just wanted love, right? Which is nebulous. So the things that we were looking for in the other was love. So we were heart, we were magnetic ourselves, we were lacking consciousness ourselves, and so were they. And what we were looking for off them was love, which we actually are. So I'm love, looking for love off you, and you're love, looking for love off me. We're looking for magnetism, and which repulses each other over time. But what we're not looking for is consciousness, right? So we're not looking for consciousness off the other, which would give trust, which would be love. We're looking for love without trust, which is disharmonic.
Yeah.
And this is what everybody's running around trying to do, was look for love off each other, heart to heart, heart to heart. What about consciousness?
That's why nobody can find it.
Right. And because it was a false folly, we're looking for something we already are from another, who isn't it either.
Yeah.
And in this respect, it was the lack of consciousness that allowed this to play out.
Yes.
The limitation in belief systems, the limitation in perspectives. That's what allowed this whole thing to play out, where we're all looking for this nebulous thing, which we're told we haven't got, and we actually fucking are. Right? Yeah. So this is where this sort of comes in at the basis of this psychology or psychophysical aspect. What is it that people want? And they want trust. Now, how do they garner trust? By overlooking all the things that are untrustworthy. No, you bellend. That's what fucking destroys trust. So we've got to look to be able to trust each other, which means they've got to be honest. And when ones are talking from a place of magnetism and lack, they are not honest. They can't be. Just like we couldn't be when we didn't have that perspective.
Yep.
And okay, right, now we've got a game plan. Now we can see what the rules of the game are. People don't want consciousness, they want love, which is what they truly are, but they've forgotten. They need to remember that they're love through fucking consciousness, which is the masculine love. Everybody's looking for this feminine version of love. Yeah. So it's all lesbianism.
That's why is that in some sense why they've been raging a war on the masculine in the because that is where everybody would find more of them, their true self.
People don't know what masculine love is, and you would recognize masculine love as a place you're sat in, a place of safety and security and perspective, and an archetype that is the building. You're safe in the building. The building is safe. There's nothing in the building going to get you. That's the masculine love.
I got referred to being a masculine love at Nicaragua, and they were having an all-women retreat.
Remember, this is not genderized.
No. This was just a detailed story with the words implied. So these girls were having, a session down on the beach. They were writing the things they wanted to let go of and put into the fire and so on and so on. And I wasn't a part of it. They were all sitting in their group, and I was sitting on the like a quarter around the fire, another place. I was sitting in my own space, just sitting in my Lotus, feeling the heat and being in my own space, not even listening to them. And the woman that was leading this retreat was referring to the others, that she felt me sitting over there holding the space for them to be vulnerable and being the building. I never understood what that mechanic of that situation was. Right when you said before this with the male and the female and the structure in the house, because I didn't feel I was masculinely loving them.
No.
But I was.
It's different.
It was. Now I have a really very different understanding of what it is I was doing when I was sitting there without doing anything. I was doing everything.
It gives security to the individual.
Yes, it did.
Through consciousness, not through this idea of love, but self-trust, the connection of it. And that gives that solidity, and all of a sudden you can give people the space. But if they're looking for a type of space, they're not going to find it there.
No.
So it's generally that's what the people have been looking for, is this type of space, and resisting and rejecting the consciousness. So what you were talking about, how the masculine is being, the masculine version, the electric, the consciousness is being pilloried. Well, the whole system blames everybody else for doing what it's doing.
Yes.
Right?
That's a good way of putting it.
So it blames and it creates blame for doing what it's doing, and it blames those that aren't doing it.
Yes.
Right. So the masculine isn't the patriarchal killer that this feministic, opportunistic scheme believes it to be. The paternal, the patriarchy, and all of this bullshit. Yeah. But they had to blame the one that was innocent, which is masculine, which is the consciousness was innocent. They had to blame that, or the soul was innocent. They had to blame that to create the victim card of the distorted feminine.
Yeah.
So we all blame something, and the masculine, the consciousness, the security, the actual area that is stable, as opposed to unstable, was blamed for the instability.
Yeah.
Of course it was, because that's what the inversion does, is it blames that which is doing, so the inversion creates instability and blames the masculine for it.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. So this is the resistance to consciousness, or the inversion of the magnetic filaments, and therefore the electricity can't run through them. It goes,
and it gets stuck.
And it gets stuck, so there's no flow and return.
Yeah.
There's no return to source. There's no return to the self.
That's why people keep chasing also.
And that's the disconnect.
Yeah.
And in there is the guilt. There is no guilt.
Oh yeah.
There isn't. You were never guilt. Innocence is the return, but in the resistance, there's guilt, shame, the depth, the weight of the anchor.
But you're the only one making that.
Yes, on a collective basis, though, that was co-creating.
Yes.
Disharmonic limitation. And for me, the key to that is to go into the conscious mind, into the consciousness, and rewrite the subconscious programs. But to the neo-spiritual and these movements, it's not. It's to go into the heart and shut the mind down completely, which basically means shutting down consciousness and only being a disconnected idea of love, until that doesn't work anymore, and then you've got to eat yourselves, which is just like friggin' Islam. So everything must succumb to this idea of love, otherwise, and then when everybody is in this idea of love, then there's ego everywhere fighting each other on who's the best lover, etc., etc. So the whole thing breaks down because it's polar.
Yeah.
It's a polarity in a duality.
It's missing the yin and the yang,
It's
the black and the
missing
white.
the singularity in the middle.
Yeah.
It's not the yin and the yang. It's missing the singularity. It's a polarity that pretends to be the whole. But you've got another polarity at the top,
now
which
I
is
see what you.
consciousness.
Okay. Now I see what you mean.
So this is a polarity.
Yes.
Then you've got the other polarity, which is the other pole. So this is North Pole and this is South Pole.
Yes.
But this one pretends it's the whole. And the singularity is missing, which sits in the middle of both of them.
Yeah.
Which there's your heads and there's your tails. And there's the core, which is the silver or the copper. That's this part aspect over here is shut down. So the singularity sits in there somewhere as a polarity.
Yes.
And then swings up and down in this shame, right? It's not until you can see the shame for what it is and see the beauty for what it is that you're sat in the middle, and there is no yin yang.
I see the guilt in all my clients now in a very different way.
They don't know it's there because
No.
they don't know the consciousness and they haven't taken accountability for themselves. And the only way you get through that is not by loving them or kindness and niceness and these ideas. The way you get through it is by truth. And that truth must be clear, unfucking divided, non-negotiable. Otherwise, we're back into the fucking polarity. And this is that area that you must stand. Now, it's not a totalitarian area for the other, but it is for yourself.
Yes.
So they can do what they want. But
that's what the agreements are for. You set it up beforehand, then you refer it back, and there
so
we
you
go.
create your solidity for your contractual obligation, or whatever's going to happen between, by an agreement first that you can always refer back to. Otherwise, we're going to end up in the weeds, which tends to be inside
Going
a polarity.
nowhere. Yes, it's never solving anything.
No. And if you look at the same respect, when a limit is shown to me, or when people give a belief system that's hidden inside their subconscious programs, limited, then what I would do is take that limitation from that polarity and give the opposite from consciousness, which looks like a direct contrary question. Well, you believe this, what about that?
Yeah.
Right? And that's straight away. And I'm sat in the middle, right? I'm not, that's not fact. It's just an option for your belief.
But even just playing with the philosophic choice of it, you already spaz out. Most people do because it's so ingrained in them in somehow to keep that comfort zone.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
It's the ego. It's not a comfort zone. It's so terrifying to go beyond it. So it's the fear of going beyond it because it's where you're comfortable. Comfort zone, yeah. But this is what I talk to, the depth versus shallows. So the shallow is the comfort and the depth is the uncomfortable. But if you haven't got the depth, then you've got no consciousness. And in the shallow, you hide. But in the depth, I know it sounds ass backwards, you can't hide in the shallows because you can be seen. But not when all the fish are swimming in the shallows.
Well, as soon as you said it, I saw exactly how I've been hiding myself in there.
And we did that.
At some points of my life.
Yes, we all did.
Of course we did.
So understand that there's no problem with anybody else still doing it.
No, not at all. It's just a part of it.
It's a transience.
Yes.
And they won't be doing it forever. So understand that too, and give them the rules of the game. Your game, write your script and hold to it, and then you can always refer to it.
Yeah.
And that way you're accounted for. You're responsible. You're responsible from the beginning.
Yeah.
Not down the line and then trying to retract. No. Get it on the fucking table so that you have the fallback to it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the bit that takes the courage. The getting it on the table.
Actually, it doesn't feel like courage anymore. It feels more uncomfortable not doing it.
So if you've gone past, but it depends. Well, you'll see when you
I'll
go.
See as soon as I go play with it, I see where my status is.
Yeah, go and have some fun with it. But it takes courage. It might not take. See, courage is another word for something that's not. It feels courageous. It feels brave. It feels courageous at the time until you've done it 20 times, and then it's like water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
There's no more. You don't need that courage again. So what's courage? Willingness, acceptance, really.
Acceptance, probably a better word for it. Yeah.
So it takes acceptance. Now that acceptance can be courageous, only until it's not anymore. So courage is a sort of transience too. It's a feeling. Fuck, and then after you've done it, it's fine.
For me, courage is only the first step. As soon as you're done with the first step,
I think it says acceptance, willingness, acceptance, neutrality, willingness. So there's your. It could be courage, but it's acceptance, neutrality, and willingness. So those three all come above pride. So go into accept there's a possibility. This is why I talk about possibilities rather than facts. Can you see, well, this is what you're thinking. Well, what about that? Is it a possibility? Can you accept it is?
Yeah.
Because once you do, then you can go through neutrality and willingness to think about it, right?
Yeah.
And then that opens up inner wisdom, inner light.
Yes.
And that's the path, right, of forgiveness, or it's whatever it is. So it's courage to accept a possibility that you might be wrong. Right, okay. What do I need to be right for? But in the old world, you do. In the new world, you don't. So go past that by acceptance that another's truth might be better than yours. Cool. And then you're willing to take it on board. Most of the time, I won't do anything with it straight away. I need to go and mull it over in the background. So somebody will say something to me, and I will either disagree or agree, whatever it is, or keep neutral on it, go away and I'll think about it, and then take what I need from it, not what they're telling me I should. So if it turns out to be better or a tweak or something like this, then I'll go back afterwards and say, oh, thanks for that. I might not say it at the time. So I'm aware when people give me those things, not to work on them straight away, but to sit with them afterwards, but not deny them. So the acceptance.
That pissed my girlfriend off in Denmark so very much. She was asking me at a certain point in the end of our relationship, she was like, why can't you accept anything I say and just take it as a truth? I'm like, well, trying to understand that if I have to change something inside of me, I can't take it on your face value. I kind of have to play around with it and make sure it fits inside me, what you're saying. And she could never understand that, I think.
The instant gratification, the instant change. But if you ask her to do something, she wouldn't change instantly. But she wants you to change instantly. So it's where's the mutual responsibility in this? I've said to you many times, but you completely ignored me. Now you've got a point, and you want me to take the whole thing on board, do you? Where's the mutual value?
Yes.
it's difficult to find that when people are working from heart and not consciousness, and therefore there's no logic, wisdom and reason outside of excuse. So if there's a real reason for a limitation, then you can give it and it will make sense.
And people really have a tendency to get stuck in their emotional, kind of overtakes the consciousness, like we just talked about the heart or energy. People, the love, people think they have to be there, but it's only half the answer.
It's a childlike state, and in that state, childlikeness, no, it's not childlike, it's childish. In that state, it's negation, and it's arguing with your parents based upon what a child would create as reasons. So the childish state of negation or limitation, let's call it a limitation, when they fall into that denial, what it is then is you're a 6 to 10 year old arguing with your mum about why you should have a lollipop.
Sometimes it feels like talking to grown-ups that way, yeah?
And well, they aren't grown-ups. This is what you've got to bear in mind.
Grown-up buddy.
Yeah, but that's what you've got to bear in mind. What you see in front of you belies their conscious state, which is that of a child. Now, in that, you're going to find that they argue from a place of childish reason.
Yeah.
Childish reason.
I recognize that, yeah.
And it's got no reason at all. But it's their default setting, and the ego believes it fully. Right? Absolutely fully. They believe it to be true. Absolutely fully. And it's crazy fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing. So when they show you what they are, believe them. Right? Doesn't matter if they look 40, 80, 70, whatever they say they are. The excuses and the reasons and the justifications for their actions will be childish.
Yeah.
And they'll argue with them as if you're their parent.
Yeah. And defend them like you're your parent, yeah.
Right, now see it for what it is. Now, I've told many people, I am not your parent. Right, I am not your parents. Stop talking to me like I'm your parents. And they don't know what I'm talking about because they're fucking 10 at the time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Even if they're 40, 50, it doesn't matter. But they bullshit,
but
because
actually,
it's coming from a place of no consciousness.
But actually, this small interactions I've had through on the other side of these kind of 3 or 4 weeks I've been in my own space now, and all these discoveries, interacting with Soma and options that the universe kind of flushed in and go, now you can have everything you were dreaming about here. What do you think?
What do you want?
What do you want? Yeah, right, exactly.
As opposed to what are you?
Exactly. But talking about this, I see myself recognizing everything we talked about in the relationship of talking to these people.
You will. It's all relatable, bro.
I'm already seeing more of who they are, or where they are, so to speak.
Better.
Not their body or how old they are or young or whatever.
Look, one of the simplified ways I looked at this was a beam of light, and the aspect is on a beam of light, but the aspect is a mess. So why shouldn't everybody else be? It's not a negation of the aspect, it's just it's distorted, it's playing like a mess, it's out of tune, right? But it thinks it's not, it's tone deaf and believes it's playing in tune, but it's not, right? So I don't speak to the aspect, I speak to the higher version that isn't there, and allow this one to be. So in this way, I'm talking the truth past the aspect to a place into the higher future, whatever, so we can come back to it, because you're not going to accept it, but I don't care what you're doing. No. What I care about is who you are, what you are, and I'm going to talk to that. I'm going to talk to that from a place above, because I'm not going to sink and talk to you. I'm going to talk to you. You're purer you, right? So I'm not judging the individual for the aspect that's playing out the distortions at all. No. I'm going to talk to the higher version of that and say, it's okay. Yeah. I see you. I know what you're doing. I'm not having it. The individual will be intolerant of all of that completely because it wants to be sympathized with. But no. And then the aspect, so I'm honest to the higher self and don't care about the feelings relative or the emotional manipulative nature of the aspect currently, because it's transient. This is only wobbling for a period of time. It's not forever. So whatever that's doing, it still needs the solidity of support, the foundation. I'm not going to waver from that. I'll hold the ground for you. I'll hold this, and I'll talk to, but I'm not going to play with that.
Yeah.
And that aspect.
That's the whole aspect of going back, is exactly that.
Learning all of that.
Not playing that, but coming from
actioning it.
Yeah.
In a manner of experience, which then formats your focus. So all of the aspects, and you can see them more. It's all very well me saying this, but you haven't experienced all of this.
No, I have to go live it now.
Yeah, over and over. But you have experienced it in bits.
Yes.
So you know it's there, but you just don't know what it looks like when you're walking in knowing it's there. Right? You can know it's there in reflection, but can you know it's there in real time?
Yeah. That's going to be the fun playing, is getting closer to real time. Yeah, yes. For sure. I'm closer than I've ever been.
Well, if it's all you're perfect. Think about it. Perfect. You must be by definition. Don't forget you're perfect. Now, even if you're perfectly imperfect,
that's also perfect.
It's perfect. Right? So there's never any fault. No. It's just an imperfection that can do with a little bit of grinding. Okay. Where's the shame in that? There isn't any, because I'm perfect.
A lot of the guilt and shame and all that, and I felt a big chunk of that falling out of me with the talk you had with Renata. I made the reference before that if you truly understand and realize from the consciousness and the feeling, both sides of on the singularity, that everybody was struggling at the same time. Now that was like a huge So I could let go of it. Now I didn't have any debt anymore to some of these situations of where people did something that hurt.
In a manner, you've accepted that they are you.
Yeah, you can say that.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yes, you said it because that was your realization as well. Fuck, they're all the same as me. Trying their best,
that was my second
fucking
collapse,
up anyway.
3 days after my first collapse.
And then, so that was so beautiful.
But you've got to take time to understand what it means. So when I say
the gravitas of that it's
when
dense.
I say I took responsibility for everything and I took the blame for everything, but I also blame my parents still for not giving me love. Right? So I took all the blame, which was one-sided, and I let them all off blame. But I didn't really, and I was still holding some aspect of that until I realised, what happened to me, it happened to them. Now, when you get that, it sinks in, right?
It just falls out of you.
Right.
And there was just this release just by sitting, observing, listening, and then that realization, poof, just hit you.
You probably heard that. I've said this probably quite a few times in conversations with people. First release was with me, second release was with everybody else, because they did the same. They'd gone through the same, obviously. And people will go, yeah. But they don't understand what that means until you wear it, right? Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Isn't that just the experience of being in this vessel? Playing around in this field?
I found it without being shown it just by logic.
Yeah.
If it happened to me, then it must have happened to them, right? But that's not the way everybody extrapolates this stuff. No. Probably because they've still got belief systems and values, because they weren't on their ass when they received that information.
Yeah.
They were still believing they were in control of things.
The issue is, I think, for many people, is a lot of the lack and the split and the happens without you having a recollection of it in this body right now. You're so hung up with the outside, and it's so busy on the outside, that coming back to that innate knowing by sitting and falling apart and putting yourself back together with wisdom, instead of keep playing around.
It's an easier path, but not all of us could take that path. Now we could have done, I could guess that we could have done, but I had no wisdom, even though I thought I did. It was all based on false value sets, and therefore couldn't break it down. It had to collapse itself, right? And the experience of that is very different to having, I believe, that giving people the information before time, regardless as whether they deny it, assists them after.
Oh, for sure.
And I've been fought on that quite a lot, but
we talked about it several times. For me, it's working. Every time we talk, and I say I don't even understand it right now, but I know in my reflection I can put it together to a more complete picture. Yeah, it comes back in. Oh, yes, that was that, and he said, and this fits with. Now I see.
And that's where you develop trust, not the other side of it. Trust in the fact that even if you don't understand, you will.
Yes.
And the giver of that information, then you can trust because he's not tried to fuck you up or manipulate you, even though it feels like it could be, because they're giving you information you can't understand. But then it becomes understandable, and that holds true. Now, if that holds true, so does the giver of it.
But don't you only get manipulated if you jump on it without consciousness? We just talked about you step aside, you go reflect.
You do,
and then you take the value or the gold and the wisdom out of it.
Trust at a different level. Not the old world trust. I'm talking about trust that is genuine. You. It's not that you trust what I say; it's you trust yourself. Once the penny's dropped, you don't need me to say it again. It's gone. It's done. It's finished. Right? It's not. We don't need to keep repeating it. There's no repetitive cycle. There's just realization.
Yeah.
And it's expansion. So you can trust the expansion, which is a whole new level of vulnerability. It's not vulnerable at all. It's really exciting, relative. But people think it's vulnerable because it's truthful.
Yeah.
It's open. It should be truthful. It should be without resistance and without these. Of course it should be, but we're so unused to it that it almost looks like a place of vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that you feel as more solid and more strength and more energy out of your truth, which looks vulnerable, than you ever did when you were trying to be vulnerable and open and honest, because you fucking weren't.
Yep.
But now you are.
I totally agree on that.
The power it gives you, because you've got nothing to hide.
Yep.
Before, when you were vulnerable, you were hiding shit. You know what I mean?
Yes, very much.
So it's another paradox that moves past layers. So we can say we were virtuous and vulnerable, I was honest, but no, I wasn't, was I? It didn't
No, you were
hold.
still lying to yourself.
It didn't hold. It was a form of it. It was an idea, but it didn't hold. Now I can be, and it's pure. It's not vulnerable at all. It's strength.
Yes.
It's authority.
I do feel that much more actually than I have before.
That's the value. That's what I see as, thank you for this as well. This is what I appreciate. But that's the value of gratitude, not to another, but to yourself, for the acceptance of something that may need to be reviewed. And that you might, but afterwards the rewards are gratitude. And that is akin to love.
Yeah.
It's akin to peace. It's akin to everything. The gratitude. But that can only come with wisdom and not with transience, not with superficial. It's got to be it's known. It's like a depth of gratitude. It's a different thing. You're not like, oh, thank you for that present. No, it's nothing like that, man. It's so much deeper.
Yes.
And it's something you can
I don't
never
think
repay.
we don't have the vocabulary to explain that.
No, you don't repay it. What you do is it's the energy that you can carry on that great gratitude is repays itself. It extrapolates. So
it never runs dry again.
This is the beauty. This is why I can gift people things, and they will be grateful later. Not necessarily to me, but to themselves. Yeah. And if they then reflect it back, perfect. If they don't, so what? And I know it holds. So the levels of truth that hold, I know the center holds, even if the other says it doesn't.
It's always on them for themselves to find their own truth. We can sit here and talk our truths. In some sense, the wording you're using to explain your truth doesn't necessarily ring through with everybody, because we have a way of explaining our own truth with our own words. So
we shouldn't really have our own truths. My truth, your truth.
I know, but for the time being, that's the case, I think.
Yeah, past what people can understand, it's got to be a my truth until it becomes an our truth. Now, I always give the opportunity for them to say, look, this is my truth, but underneath, it's ours. Yeah. Do you not agree?
We can consent to this is...
And if you don't agree that it's ours, then I'll say it in a different way until we can find something that you can agree with. Yeah. So we can find that there's a relatable truth here, and it's not just one.
Yeah.
And this is where I go into abstract, because otherwise your form dictates your truth. But if we go into abstract value of patterns, then your form doesn't matter, and you can agree on principle.
It's a lot better way of doing it because you won't risk repeating it over and over and over and get trapped in a cycle, because you take the wholeness of it and you have both the heart and the consciousness dealing with it at the same time. You're no longer in the game, you are the game and you're the director of it.
If we can come back to that, then we can start from there.
Yeah,
it depends what level of truth you can hold. Hello, brother. This is why I say it depends what level of truth you can hold in your system as to where we start the walk.
Yeah.
Right. Now, that level of truth, what people say is I hold a very high truth, but that's for 2 minutes a day. For the rest of the day, you don't.
Yeah.
So it's that you can't put your peak as your level of truth. You can only put the median that you hold to. So are you angry? Well, yes. Well, then that deflects your truth down to a median in the middle, not the highest. So if you can be your truth, or a higher truth, or at peace for 5 minutes a day, but for 23 and 55 minutes you're not, then you can't say that's my truth.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a transient state that you can get into every now and then, but then you fall out of it. So the middle is your truth, where you can hold the median. So if you get angry, frustrated, or any of these fear-based projects, then you must accept that you are in the middle of where you think you are, not above. So this is being honest again on spectrum.
But isn't that the case with most souls or people, human bodies in the world today, is that they have an untruth picture of themselves where they are. We are lying to ourselves in the current state.
You can call it a limited...
I think I'm higher virtues and honors and I'm all this. But in fact, like you just said, no, when the truth comes to it, and you have to be honest with yourself, is it 5 minutes or 23 and 55 minutes you're in or out? Most people lie and have a very distorted picture of where they see themselves, including myself. I just realized 3 weeks ago, I was like, well, I'm here, and oh, you're not.
It's exactly
so
that.
We keep lying to ourselves.
What's the most benefit in these situations? Is it to show the cherry on the cake and tap that on the head and say, oh, very well done for understanding that, or to be honest about it and say, well, hold on, if you're doing this, then that's not real, is it? It's there, don't get me wrong, but it's not what you can hold, is it? So I'm not going to congratulate you for how far you can think. What I'm going to show you is what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
And that tends to get a lot of denial of people because they want to be congratulated and tapped on the head. Most people want to be
the other thing
in that way
is accountability, and they don't want that.
Well, they, again,
if you have to show them, you have to prove that what your truth is.
No, what I don't is I don't show them, because there many times I've been told I'm not accountable, and I just deny that completely and say yes, I am. I'm not going to explain to a child mind who's trying to argue with their parents why they can't have a lollipop.
Yeah.
The fact is you can't, right? I'm not that kind of fluff, right?
But don't you think people are caught in that disbelief of themselves, the distorted picture of themselves? Do they have the capability of reflecting?
Projection, you're calling it. That's what you're talking about, is projection. So what they do is they take in what you say and then project it back at you from their own lack.
Yes, what they wish it to be. So they're actually lying, but they don't even understand they're lying. They're telling you their truth, even though it's really distorted from where
it's not their truth. It's a reactive truth created by the child mind for why they can't have a lollipop. It's only their truth in that moment where they're angry and they want to attack because they feel they are being taken from.
Yeah.
So it's not their truth at all. It's a transient manipulation which is based on an emotional blackmail.
Yeah.
To which the children usually get what they want of their parent if they cry long enough.
Yeah.
And in that respect, the same things happen.
That makes sense.
It's understanding the child nature of it and the way that we, if we don't get what we want as a child, then we have a tantrum. And then we create all sorts of reasons and justifications why they're evil and they don't treat me right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the situation across the board.
Yes.
With the way the ego deflects. So what's lacking within gets reactive out. If somebody says something they don't like, they will say something because they don't like it within. Then they turn it and they say something they don't like about you.
Yeah.
So it's got nothing to do with you. It's all about, oh, no, fucking you do it, or it's not fair. And all these comparisons come in.
Yeah.
They're all childlike. They're all just from I want what I want, right? And that's okay. It's just the way we've all done these things. We all try to manipulate the environment to get the best outcome for ourselves, based on a lack mentality from a disconnect before we even remember.
Yeah.
And that ecosystem has run the roost. Now, when we deny the ego, it's chocolate, or it's sweets, or it's attention.
Yeah.
When we deny the ego its importance, because it's not important, then it doesn't like it.
Oh no.
So there's the first step. Deny the ego. What are they capable of? How do you assess the situation without knowing what they're capable of?
Yes.
And they're not going to show it you willingly. So all you do is you show them love, trust, openness and honesty about yourself.
Yeah.
And let them do with it what they will. Now, do they see a loving, truthful, trusting, honest, virtuous soul, which you know yourself to be? Or do they see an evil mother or father that's not giving them a lollipop?
Yep.
Both of those perspectives are valid to them, and that's their truth.
Yes.
Now, they can have that truth, but it's not true to me.
No.
So it's not our truth.
Yeah.
But I'm holding a truth which I believe is our truth.
But that has been in my coaching and talking to people in the last 10 years have been some of the thoughts I've been running into trying to actually help them. I know I was doing my coaching from a different, it came from a different point. It would definitely change if I'm going back to doing coaching again.
How do you help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves?
You don't.
Right.
That's why I kind of gave up, because there was too many people who didn't really want to help themselves. They were really keen on, I think Elon Musk said it really nice, I don't give a shit about people that just want to look good and do evil. So the talking and the doing kind of has to come hand in hand. You can't tell me that this is who you are and then you go do something completely different.
So where's the agreement?
Exactly. But the reason why I actually tried it out was they don't understand they are the ones to help themselves.
Right.
They want somebody else to fix you.
And I understand this, because when I went in to see the counsellor, I walked out and thought, well, I've just spent 60 quid and you didn't fix me. What a fucking waste of time. Well, that was my first thoughts when I walked out. Well, okay, what do I do now? Nothing's happened. And so I was in the same, I went through the boat of, I sat in that first session on my fucking ass, and he turned around and said, Lee, you came in here to assess me. You didn't. You came in to question what I was going to give you. You weren't open.
Yeah.
You weren't listening.
Yeah.
You were testing whether or not you could. So all he did was give me 2 fucking words, well 3. He denied everything I was saying, and then said who's going to kiss it and make it better. That's all he gave me. Beautiful. That's all I needed.
Beautiful.
And so when I had the opportunity then to reflect on this deeply and over a period of time, I thought, well, you know what, that works. It's completely upside down to everything else I've done. This is the time I'm going to do everything backwards anyway. This works. What if I test it? And I started to use it too with people, and we had major heated debates, major heated debates.
Oh, I could imagine, But
I never got personally invested in them. I had people walking out the door angry, and me shouting at them, I was making a cup of tea, saying, if you walk out that door angry, you're never coming back. Your choice. Sit the fuck down or leave. But angry ain't coming back. Calling the bluff. Not trying to placate the situation. If you keep going, I'm going to fucking leave. Go on then.
Yeah.
But if you do and you leave angry, you ain't walking back in.
No.
So we either make an agreement before you leave, or we don't.
Yeah.
Your choice.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So we went into this for whatever. But what I was doing was practicing that ability to see them for what they are, not what I thought they were.
Yeah.
From a place of realization that the truth conquers all. But you have to accept it. Now I realized that people they weren't ready to, they weren't able to, and all of these things. But nor was I able to accept their denial, nor their rejection, resistance, or their justifications and excuses anymore. I couldn't accept them, and they couldn't accept the truth.
Yeah.
So I couldn't accept the lies, and they couldn't accept the truth.
Yeah.
Or our truth, not mine. It wasn't, these have developed, and they are relatable. So they couldn't accept our truth, and I couldn't accept their lies.
Yep.
So where are we?
I recognize that.
Where are we? So then we had to create boundaries that were going to be then assumed by the other over time too. So we had to create value sets, we had to create shame, we had to create the regions where these things were so that they were correctly understood when we could reflect on them. And otherwise,
yes,
there was no true reflection.
Well, then it becomes a distorted reflection and you're already on thin ice.
It's built from lies or built from limitation.
Yeah.
And then it's reflected upon it as if the limitation is true.
Yeah.
It's not. So you have to break the limit, blah, 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 blah. In all of this, and again with all the neo-spiritual groups and all of that spirituality sort of side of things, going through that and watching the love and like ideas and the unconditionality, destroying the idea of consciousness, the idea of principles, the idea of honor, virtue and integrity. None of that was in there. It was just nice and kind and fluffy. It made no sense. It was superficial.
Yes.
So I had to walk in that then and play with them and then go into different layers of religious people and bringing them into metaphysics instead of religion.
Yeah.
All of these were kind of like, okay, that's what you're going to be walking into, brothers, these sort of areas of experience which expand your understanding or...
It deepens the knowledge of myself, really.
You've already recognized in the last couple of weeks the profound or the profundity of the depth, the gravitas, of some of the things that were already said.
Yes.
But in this, they oh dear, right? It means that. Well, I would suggest you're probably going to have a few more of them.
I'm sure I'll have a few more.
They fill in your foundation.
Yes.
So we've got the foundation, but it's not solid and compacted yet. That's your trust, right?
Yes.
But it's there. It's fine. You know it's there.
Oh yeah, it's there.
You need
for
to
sure.
ensure it's founded. So these areas will solidify your foundation.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you've got to go and find them because they're yours.
Like we just talked about, going back and find. I don't think that will be my last journey to completely, fully trust and embody myself, to trust myself as who I am. All the things we've been talking about now, I have to go live it to actually learn it, be in it,
action it. You choose when you trust yourself. It's your choice.
Yes.
I would suggest that you do it when you find no reason not to.
That is my approach. I am. I'm more in trust with myself than I ever been, and I know myself to a level I've never known myself to before.
But this is new for you. So in reflection, you're still looking, and you should be, meticulously looking anyway, it should be, it's perfect to be, for areas of limitation that can come in. So you need to go past the time where you can find in reflection any areas where you could be seen as limited. And then you can trust yourself. So when you have a chat with anybody, you're going to reflect on it. Afterwards, you know that's what you do anyway. So you're going to sit in your own bubble for a bit and think about what happened, reflection, and then break it down, right? Over time, when you find that there's no anger, there's no limitation, there's no blame, there's no judgment, everything you said held, no manipulation at all, it was just actual. Over time, as you recognize in reflection that that's happening every time, then you can get to the point, well, why am I reflecting for fault? I trust.
Yeah.
But that's genuine then, because you're doing it for yourself to the point where you've done all the work. And now you can say, I'm not going to keep looking for something I'm not.
Yeah.
The same as healing, I need to be healed. All of these things, do you? No, I don't. I'm already healed. Right, good. But with the trust part of it, it's that connection. So everything, you're not thinking about what you're saying anymore. It's not reactive.
No, it's flowing.
It's responsive, right? And it's got purity within it everywhere. So you can't find anything in it. It doesn't matter what everybody else is saying. In reflection, in truth, you're not lying to yourself. You're looking at it, you're breaking it down. And this can take quite a long time. It can take, it's not a 2-minute job. It's reflective over 6 months.
It's the reflection that takes time to make the connection between the pieces, and you're sitting reflecting on. It takes time to put it into a perspective you can comprehend.
In a manner, it has to be trustworthy. trust has to be trustworthy, which makes sense, doesn't it? But how can you be trustworthy when you know how much you weren't before? So you can't lie to yourself about how much trusting you were before when you could find there are areas that you lacked.
But the trust is what you earn yourself.
Yes.
Like now
by
it's
action.
my time to go and earn it
Precisely.
by action.
So what you're saying about the connection, the learning, the remembering to perfecting your will, but it's the way I you can trust yourself before you realise, but you won't be able to because you need to be sure. That's fine, right? So you'll say, when I trust myself, you'll realise you had been for quite a while, but you didn't give yourself that until the point where that's what it is.
See, I was actually doing it.
No, you weren't able to give yourself the medal. You weren't able to say it honestly. You were still looking for. You were being sure. You were really over-engineering it, but that's good. It's ridiculous, and it didn't cost you anything, right? And then you can see that, right? And this comes from absolute accountability. So you don't leave anything in the wind that can come and bite you.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing can. Nothing can touch you.
That is so fun. The last week I've been working with plugging my energy holes, like stupid stuff like my email with all kinds of all the shit. I'm cleaning it all out, making a new one that's all clean, and then I'm gonna, so all these areas of my life where I have something seeking my attention or keeping me from reflecting on my inside, all the distortions and all the plays and toys I've had on the outside and all the away with it.
Yeah. And that's wiping the slate clean.
Yes.
Now, once you've done that, what's going to bite you? What can come and get you? Now you're in charge of your actions because you've cleansed the past. You've reconciled it, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's closing down email, setting up new account, it doesn't matter. It's all gone, finished, not interested anymore.
Yep. Clean slate.
Now I've got a new start. Now that's going to be made with an agreement. Fundamental, absolute, boundary written.
Yep.
Boundaries. It's got conditions, and the conditions of trust. Now I need to where I found fault in the past, where they could catch me and drag me down. Never going to be there again.
Yep.
Where there was manipulative areas where I had to go. Never going to be there again.
Yep.
And these areas, then you expand. It's beautiful. It really is.
It will be a beautiful journey.
It can take a bit of acceptance.
Oh, I'm sure.
None of it is. See, when you look at it from that level and that perspective, it's all expansive and beautiful. But when you've got lack in you, it's fear-based and dreadful. It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you're acceptant of the uncomfortable now because it's not uncomfortable at all. It's just unknown in the moment until afterwards, and then you realize it was already known anyway. So it's just a repeat of a previous cycle.
That was a beautiful way of putting it.
There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it that can catch you off guard because you've experienced it all before. It's come from within you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what is it? Then you can see it for what it actually is, and you can play with it or not.
Yeah.
That's your authority.
Now it becomes a reaction with wisdom behind it instead of a response from a lack.
No, the other way around. Responsible is with wisdom. Reaction isn't.
The other way. Yep.
Perfect.
Sure.
But yeah. Yeah.
Almost got it. English is still.
No, you had the right idea, right conclusion, wrong descriptors.
It's so fun. I started talking Danish again, and my brain has. I'm writing in Danish now a bit more than I have been, and my brain is shut off from texting in Danish. Now I'm like, shit. But no, that looks wrong, and never mind. That's been a fun experience the last couple of days of like messing around with we talked the vocabulary and so on. I even think that English, all the languages the words are hijacked. There's so many limitations and hidden values and hidden spells in the spelling, and why the words and the languages are constructed the way they are.
So what? Hang on. Now take that back, because what you're talking about there is a limitation. Spells and all this stuff within the language. Now, the language we define, it's not defined for us. So there is no spell in it if we define. And the language is used with intention. It's got nothing to do with spells or manipulation, because each word then comes from a place of intention and is redefined. So with a lot of these words and with a lot of these descriptors and a lot of these explanations that we use in these languages, which are limited, we have to redefine them and then agree with each other on our new definition.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're trapped in perspective-based definitions, and what you think a word may mean and what I think completely different, and therefore we get miscommunication or misunderstanding.
That is 99% of all the miscommunication in the world is different definitions of what we're talking about.
Well, bear in mind
words,
the ego.
Meaning.
The ego creates definition. The heart creates, the ego creates definition, which is limitation. Yeah. The consciousness creates unlimited, which is expansive. So we can redefine through intention and agreement the use of these words. So when we're using them, so in a respect, when the words are being pilloried or demonized as limited and they are, well, they have been, that's what they've been used. But we're not using those words, we're using these words. Yeah, but they're the same. No, they're not if we agree to what they mean, and we're looking at the energetic intention and not just the detail of the word, but the context in which the word is used.
That was my key, the energetic intention.
Right.
That changed it for me.
And the context. So what the ego uses is detail to extrapolate or to exempt the rule. It will use a word and not the context in which the word is given. It will just define this. Well, you said that. Yeah, but I said it in this context.
Yeah.
And that's where the detail overrules the context. But the context is where the word is redefined.
Yeah.
And the ego then limits its definition to suit its own purpose.
They're at full circle.
Yeah. So all of these things, we can work through them with people who are acceptant and communicative and have a common agreement, a commonality, or a common union around core, which is, what do you mean? Clarification as opposed to definitive definition. And then we can adjust the meaning of the word given the context.
Yeah.
Old meaning of the word, right? Yeah. We can talk about the words in a much bigger level.
It's just some of these concepts, not being English not being my native tongue, and talking about some of these concepts. I've been challenged a bit on the language, going so deep into metaphysics and concept talks. Thank you actually for clarifying words and stuff when I break up your speech.
Brother, it's how do we communicate if we don't agree? And if there's a word that I use and you don't, we've got a different definition, then let's make an agreement on what we mean.
Exactly.
This is the beauty of.
Otherwise, the whole conversation is
pointless.
Pointless. So that's also why I'm actually asking. I find a lot of people don't want to ask because they don't want to seem stupid. I'm like, it's even more stupid sitting in a conversation where you now not know what's been talked about, and you keep going with the conversation. That's even more dumb. Now you are stupid. If you asked, now you're not stupid. Now you can actually learn. I
treat people as I wish to be treated, and therefore, if they say they understand, I trust them.
Thank you, bro.
The problem is, they don't.
Yes.
And they don't.
They lie most of the time. That's the.
And they don't ask for clarification in case they feel that they are being silly or lesser. So they nod and shake their heads and carry on as if they understand what's going on, but they're not picking up the depth of it.
Maybe my being stupid in school and have to ask the spelling part, my dyslexia. I've never felt any shame about asking. It's just been I've never seen that word before. How could I know it without ever had?
You're not averse to questioning. Other people don't want to, and they assume that they know, and these things then lead to miscommunications. And I look at people when I'm talking, and whether they're paying attention or not, and whether they're understanding, right? So I'm aware of the connection, and many, they're following me, but they don't know, and they haven't got that yet. But they're not going to stop me either and say, "Can you explain that?" Because I'm more than happy to. But they don't. So I'm not going to keep explaining things to somebody if they're not asking me to. Because then they feel
people have to take responsibility for what you don't understand and ask yourself.
Responsibility in this case.
Yes.
So if you don't understand, ask. But the problem is, most people think they do understand, so they don't ask because they think they do, and then miss the point.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've been becoming.
Or have done. Not late. Not. That's not true. Most people. Old world stuff.
Yeah, old world.
What I'm finding now is much more consideration of meaning and depth with the people I'm speaking with, and much more ability to extrapolate intention and not just perspective, and show different perspectives so that we can strip down the complexity of these words the brain throws in and simplify it all, right? So where I am currently, or mostly currently, is people are looking to simplify and they're willing to do that. Whereas before they weren't, they were looking to complicate. So we're seeing this breaking down into simplification rather than complicating things. So I say something, somebody overcomplicates it, and then it takes an hour, 2, 5, 10 fucking days, whatever, to break down the complication. But if they're going to not bring the complication in and just use well, I thought it meant this, what do you think? Rather than, it means that, and I'm not going to have any other thing. Okay.
Then conversation's over.
Then we have the community, right? We have the commonality, and we're able to then to break it, to what was it I used? I think I put, should I leave the phone outside? Just a second, I think I put it.
Might be, yeah.
2 seconds. Dos secondos. Right, so, where was it? Telegram. What was that one? The future is determined by your standards, not your goals. No, that's not the right one. You get what you want. Oh, where was that thing about why not? No. All things must be examined, debated, investigated without exemption and without regard for anyone's feelings. All things must be examined, debated, investigated without exemption and without regard for anyone's feelings. So non-emotionally.
Yeah.
My reply to that was absolutely, and why would anyone disagree? But there's many things that we can't examine, debate or investigate because of feelings.
Well, at the old world right now, because offended is the new black, so you don't have to be right, you just invent your own reality and get offended by everybody else having a different opinion.
Right, and that's the distorted feminine blaming the patriarchy.
Yes, very distorted.
Or the way the system works in that respect. But within, I'm not saying, again, within, it's the consciousness is diminished by the magnetic thinking it's correct and the ego. That defense system thinking it's correct diminishes the consciousness, and in there's a limited aspect, a limited frequency, very childlike or childish, actually not childlike. Childlike is much beautiful. You can have the whole consciousness and still be innocent and childlike with it, exploratory in that way. So childish is the other way, with the ego is childish, innocence is childlike. In a manner, these words, I know English isn't your first language.
But just that's a beautiful point. Some of these words that you're using is not used in everyday language. The people that talk together, there's so much miscommunication because of the fluffiness of the words. If we got to know more gravitas in the words and it wasn't so shallow, we would be having a lot less drama and complications in our daily lives, but that's
an agreed set of values as opposed to a disagreed set of values that can change. The ego just changes everything to suit itself.
True.
And there's no room for maneuver. The innocent doesn't. It's explorative of every option, and there's plenty of room for maneuver. So one's limited and one's unlimited. Same boat, bruv. Same shit, different toilet. In a manner of speaking. Well, I'm going to stop this one. That
was a good one.
I hope anybody who listens enjoys that. A little bit of fun between me and Chris. Okay.
Thank you.